Good evening, 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 and welcome to Meet the Flushes. I'm not going to wear the headset all the way through. I just wanted to check that the balance was the right level between the smooth jazz and
Classic FM.
It's not classic FM. It's jazzy mix. It says it's royalty-free background, so I'm hoping it doesn't mute the stream later on. But I'm going to take it off now.
I won't touch anything.
Anyway, good evening. Hello to everybody. I'm here with Mrs. Flush for the Meet the Flushes AMA.
You lucky thing.
Lucky people, yes.
Lucky
Twitch
people.
reward for raising so much money for Samaritans way back when. We're going to try and watch the chat. We've got the chat open in front of us. We've got the questions that have come through as well. So we'll keep an eye on both. Apparently we are up to 63 questions already, so we're trying to keep it to an hour.
We might have to disappoint a couple of people.
We're going to try and answer everything that's come through, but some answers might be sort of 15 seconds or less. But we'll keep them open for now, because I have said we'll keep them open till at least quarter to 8. So we'll keep them open for a bit. But thank you very much for the response. There's another flush just appeared in the background. Just before we get going, is that a hype train that's just started there? Excellent. Hype train on the go. I can't hear any of the raid alerts, so I'm just going to have to watch. It'll be a nice casual hype train. But let me say thank you to everyone who has... Oh, I've lost all of the subscriber things because all the questions have come through. Let me see what happened here. There've been... So thank you to everyone who has subbed or resubbed in the last few minutes. I've just seen Matt the Rep. 20 months. Wow, where has the time gone? Thank you for 20 months. Arden Fetch, thank you for the 8-month subscription there. Ash the Bash resubscribing. Hype train, you say? Resubscribing at 20 months. Thank you very much, Ash.
Ines, I wouldn't ask many flush questions because he will answer them at length, and we don't
and
have
somehow
the
turn it
time.
onto the Second World War.
off
You
the
need to go
bed.
have a shower, Dylan, don't you?
Go and have a wash.
Which questions?
No, Dylan,
No.
stop it. Stop being
bed.
silly. You
Go
need
and
to go and have a
clean
wash, don't you?
Go and wash. Cleanse
Clive,
yourself.
thank you for the resubscription as well. 16-month resubscription. What was I 16 months ago? An iguana, but circular. Circular iguana. Brian, thank you very much for the 500 bits. Oh, look at that. DC Simmons gifting out 3 gift subs. 14 subs in total. Thank you very much for that, DC Simmons. Welcome to Jay White, Kegler Coach, and Chris and Dixon. Jay Turner converted from a Prime game to a Tier 1 sub. Thank you very much, Jay Turner. And for all the support. Level 3 hype train complete. Woo! Hooray! Thank you very much, everyone. We're into level 4. Let me say hello to everyone who is here. Good evening to... And the chat tracker wasn't open at the beginning, so at the very beginning, people, if you've only said something at the very beginning, then it might not have caught you. But good evening to G. Isons, Innis, Dev, Samster, 8 Minky, Score, Clive, J Turner, Apodo Nuevo, Arden Fetz, Matt the Ref, Milk-like Substance, Topper 1, Cola, J White, Adster, Drew Dave Tom, Brand New Halo, Silent Marine, Oni, David Bodycomb, Brian, Ginny Pond, and thank you for the raid as well, Ginny Pond, Chris M. Dixon, Prugs, TJ, We Like Shapes, DC Simmons, Lee Link, Hodders, Dogfish, Jogging Chummit, Sotley, Toshi, Anonymous Cheerer, and anyone else who is hanging around in the channel. You're very, very welcome. It's lovely to have you here, and I hope you're going to enjoy the evening. I'm getting messages there. Okay, yeah, Twitch being laggy. I can't do an enormous amount about Twitch being laggy, but hopefully we'll have a good time all the same. Dogfish, thank you very much for continuing that gift sub that you got from Apodo Nuevo. Thank you for the continued support to all of you. Couple birthdays in Chariot, Toshi and Ardenfetch. Many happy returns. And Ardenfetch winning Word Chain Royale, getting a bonus penny from us on his birthday right there. Huge lag. Can you drop to 166p to prevent that? It's not a great night to have lag, really, is it? But what can one do? What can we do? Well, what we can do is probably start by I'll just bring the microphone over a bit. Start by on 360p. Well, we could probably start by answering some of these questions that you've asked. So some of them might be more thorough than others, depending on the depth of the question. As you can see, there are 3 options. There's Ask Mrs. Flush, Ask Royal, and Ask the Flushes together, which is slightly more, but we will both give an answer. Whether if it's just directed at one of us, one of us get an answer, and unless the other one decides they need to comment on it.
Or domineering the other one and says, no, I'll take this.
Possibly.
I'll take this one.
Twitch server streaming low quality ain't going to help that, just a grin and bear. Okay, thanks, Ash. Thanks for the heads up there. Right. Is the music touched out? That was one thing I did want to check. I will turn the music down. That's why I was wearing the headphones, so I'm not hearing myself. Let's just bring that down a bit more. I hope I haven't muted it completely. That's about as low as I can make it. I mean, it was really, really low already. I literally can't make it any lower than that without turning it off. Is that any better? Hopefully you can confirm that's a bit better. It doesn't go so far away from the microphone. What's going on? Dev, thank you for the gifted sub and welcome Toshi to the fam. Is that better? Cool, that's better. I mean, I might be able to change something on voice meter actually. But I don't want to start fiddling around with voice. If that's nice, that's cool. Cool. Well, we'll make sure we talk into the microphone. So, were you going to go and have a shower?
Yeah.
Cool. Off you go then.
Go wash.
So, we'll start at the top. The very first question comes from Clive of Legend, and this is asking us both simply paper or plastic.
As a rule, I suppose paper. So paper bags, paper, write-on paper. I can't think of many things where I'd prefer plastic. But then, you know, I suppose if you're on an aircraft that's made of paper, you'd probably go, what do you say?
Yeah, well, I mean, money. Plastic. I prefer money. I don't like. Dylan, please stop clowning around. He's excited because there's a camera on.
And we're like normally he gets my undivided attention on a Saturday,
I don't know,
and now
it's rare. So now he's sort of being left to his own devices a bit,
which he usually likes. So.
Do you want to get the extractor fan light?
I can do that.
Paper or plastic? If you're talking about money, Clive, then I would say plastic because I hate carrying cash and I find cash to be quite annoying. Alerts are louder than Megs.
I can talk louder.
Might have to talk louder.
I can talk louder. I can be loud.
Event sounds are pretty loud. Okay, let me see if I can just change the master volume of those. Is it that one? No, it's that one. Alerts master volume. Let's put that down to like 50%.
There you go.
Set alerts master volume. There we go. Hopefully that'll make things better. Milk-like Substance, thank you for the tier 1 sub and welcome Effrontery with that subscription from Milk-like Substance. Thank you very much. We're very, very close to a level 4 hype train completion. And there's another 100 bits from an anonymous cheerer. Thank you very much for the 100 bits. Everyone stops and go. No, wait. 96%. 10 seconds on the hype train. Will it tick into level 5? That'd be a beautiful thing if it can, but can't. Level 3 hype train emote. Lovely stuff. Have that right there. So yeah, that's the answer to paper or plastic.
There we go.
So that was one question.
That answered your question, Clive.
Ask the flushes. So this is from 8 Minky. Everyone tends to have a favourite or best dish they cook for the family. What's each of yours?
Yeah, because we were thinking about this. So I don't know. Spaghetti bolognese is a pretty firm favourite, but I think if we're sort of doing a last ditch, what should we make? It generally tends to be chicken fajitas. I don't know why. We like fingery food, I guess.
There's a joke there somewhere. Chicken fajitas are a good call. Spaghetti bolognese is a win. Normally every weekend we'll have spaghetti bolognese.
Risotto.
That's
good.
a bit of a favourite at the moment. It sort of changes with the season a little bit, but at the moment I think we're a big fan of Meg's chicken risotto.
The secret ingredient is crack.
Oh no, speaking of crack, your lasagna.
Oh yes.
That is like food crack.
It is actually. I don't claim to make the best lasagna in the world because I'm not. I'm self-taught cook, but I will make a baking tray like this bit. It's huge, and it just the whole lot goes. Mostly the. Actually, I can't blame you guys because I use the same amount.
No, look, something Italian. We're a big fan of Italian food. Anything with pasta or pizza was good. Apodo Nuevo asked Royal anything. What's the weirdest thing that's inspired a game concept, whether or not it was actually made? That's a good question. I'm now going to look at my games that I've made. Probably. Just off the top of my head, maybe either. I mean, I could go through all of them and name a reason for each. Google That springs to mind because the concept of that came around because I wanted the game to be Google-proof. And so that was the central concept, is the game Google-proof. But at the same time, I suppose Cryptex you could throw out there because that was inspired by a really crap plot device in the Da Vinci Code, which we'd watched the night before, and I decided, there's a good idea for a game there. So
we'll have these things where I'll sort of go out to work in the morning, come back, and then Ben goes, "Oh, I made a game today. Remember that thing we saw on TV last week? Well, I've made a game of it now," and it's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. I think probably cryptex, the weirdest thing it was. The cryptex from the Da Vinci Code inspired the creation of a game is probably where I would put that. That's a good question though. Very good question. Thank you, Alberto Nuevo. Ask the Flushes anything from Ardenfett. How did the two of you meet?
We were putting a poll on how quick before that one came up.
How quickly do you think that question will come up?
Fortunately for you guys, we've got the how we met story off Pat. So
You don't want to start.
here we go. 2000, I can't remember the year we met. 2015.
So off Pat, we can't even remember the year.
We can't remember it.
It's 2015.
2015, I'd been invited to a friend's birthday party, which was being held at another friend's house, and it was on a Wednesday night, and it was a bizarre time to have a party, and I'd sort of ummed and ahed whether I was going, but I decided, well, I'll go along because what's the harm? Hadn't been dating anyone for a while, had kind of written off the whole dating scene, had a bit of an odd thing with this friend of mine that hadn't worked out, and I was like, no.
Odd thing.
Yeah, let's not
go into details.
Let's not go into detail
on the
on
odd
that.
thing. So
Anyway.
So pre-party, my side was I was in a relationship for a long time from when I was at university up until I graduated. It was from sort of 2009 when I started my master's degree up until 2013. At the time, it was the longest relationship I'd ever been in, and that sort of came to a like screeching halt. Yeah, do join us for a glass of wine, Dev. Good plan.
It's past 5 here, so we're cool with it.
So yeah, that relationship sort of came to a screeching halt when I decided it wasn't the right relationship and sort of ended things. I was then single for a bit. I then had a relationship, quite a bad in hindsight, I saw quite a bad relationship with someone that lasted a year to the day, exactly a year, and that had sort of come to an end at the end of July, beginning of August. And the reason this is important is because I'd not been not properly single for a while, and it was August, and my birthday's at the end of August, and I found myself in a situation where for the first time in quite a few years I didn't have a standing engagement for my birthday because I didn't have a partner at the time. I didn't have a girlfriend, and I was 200 miles away from where my parents are, and at the time I was doing a lot of magic tricks and going out to the pub and the sort of thing you do when you're single, if anyone remembers the pub. We'd go out to the pub, I'd do magic tricks, I'd meet new people and have a good time, and that was what I was doing. And a really good friend of mine said to me, "You happy just doing this, going out and meeting 19, 20-year-old guys and girls, and just yeah, is that what you want from your life? You're mid-20s, mid to late 20s now, and I was a teacher at the time, so had a professional career and stuff." He said, "Is this really what you want to be doing?" I said, "No, not really." So as it happened, at the pub one particular evening, I bumped into a friend of mine called Fraser, and I said to him, are you doing anything on Thursday, I think it was, because I said it's my birthday. Wednesday. It
was a Wednesday.
Because I said it's my birthday. I haven't got any plans. Do you want to go for a beer or a curry or something? And he said, "Well, actually, we're having a party for my friend Paul because it's his birthday today, but we're having a party on Wednesday. We're having a bit of a house party and a barbecue at mine. You're very welcome to come to that and make it your party as well." I said, "That sounds really good." And I sort of said to myself, I'm going to go to this party not with the intention of trying to pull, which is a lot of the time when I used to go out to the pub, it was specifically to try and meet somebody. And I said, but actually I'm going to go to this party and just meet people and have a good time and have a few drinks, and not with the intention of trying to meet anybody. Isn't that always the way?
It's always the way.
So, so what happened is we got to this house party. I got there about 8:30ish. At what time you were already there?
I was already there because we had this moment where we literally, I was talking to somebody and literally Ben arrived, and literally our eyes met. You couldn't have made it up.
Across the garden,
eyes met, and then that was it. We didn't talk to each other at all.
I was very aware that I'd sort of made eye contact with this person, and it was a combination of, you're quite attractive, and I think I recognise you from somewhere. And it turns out I would have recognised her because I knew Meg's older sister, for a long time before I met Meg's, because she was a member of staff at the university when I was a student there. So our eyes literally met across the garden, and then Meg spent the rest of the evening chatting with someone else, and I spent the rest of the evening hitting on some other girl. until it came to the end of the night. I found a piano. I think there was a digital piano in the house.
You had a piano, and I was actually wandering around saying, because you know this thing you have at parties where you've been talking to loads of different people, and then when you leave, you're kind of like, oh, rather than just suddenly disappear. I tend to go around and be like, oh, bye guys, we're going. So I was doing that. Saw Ben playing the piano, and I was like, oh, okay, that's clearly not one to go near. And I was actually talking to somebody else outside, and he'd just acquired a 1980s BMW, which he had there, and he was like, do you want to come and see my car? So a whole gang of us were going out, and that was when you suddenly emerged.
Yeah, so I was playing this piano, and I tried to get you to play it, and you were having none of it.
Yeah.
And then we went out. Then we went outside, and then it was the usual sort of chatting. How are you? What do you do? And so on.
We climbed into the boot of this guy's car together.
We all got into the boot of the car.
We got into the boot of the car.
And then I did my old magic trick thing, which is
before the magic trick though. Ben stood there, and I kid you not, he's there outside with his car, holding a glass of wine, and he goes, "Let me have a go on this car." So he climbs into the driver's seat, holding the wine, might I add, and rolls the car forward just like an inch or two. So yes, my first time I met you, you were drink driving.
It's worth pointing out, Ninky, that Megs is also a musician. Megs is also a pianist and a sax player. So there was a big musical connection there. Anyway, so I did my old card trick shindig that I always do, and sometimes it's if I'm doing a professional gig, it's played for laughs. But I used to play it at the pub for real. It would be just a case of if you just take out any card you like from the deck, have a look at it.
That would have been great if I pulled out the 9 of diamonds.
That would have been very funny.
It's the 8 of diamonds though.
I said show over the card, and there's a Sharpie there. If you could just sign your name and your phone number on the card, so that old gag, which worked, and I've still got the card.
Shall I go and get the card?
Do you want to just grab the card out? Maybe not show off your phone number?
Well, I tell you what, I will hold it in such a way
that we can't see the number.
We can't see the number. But I did write my phone number, and Ben saw me and he went, "Are you actually writing your number down?" And I went, "Oh yeah, you'll talk to me for about 5 minutes and you're never going to call me, so I'm really not worried about giving you my number."
But call her he did.
Call her. He didn't just call her. He went and sat in her car talking about politics for about 2.5 hours, like 3 in the morning. Recited a poem about cocaine.
Yeah, we had the cocaine poem.
And then asked me out for lunch the next day. And you'd already asked me out for a date, so that was, yeah.
And the rest is history. So that was a very thorough answer.
That was.
So Ardenfetz, I think that hopefully answers your question there, Ardenfetz, about how we met.
Is that a party?
Jay White, first impressions of each other. I think that's sort of covered in the last question. Mine were, you're quite attractive and I think I recognise you from somewhere.
Oh, really? And I've told Ben this, he knows this, but really awfully, the first time I saw him, I looked and I went, bloody hell, Fraser knows some old people.
Did you really?
I have told you this. You just look, yeah, compared to the fact that you had a whole place of like early 20-year-olds and then suddenly you're there late 20. Yeah, 27. It was like, oh, somebody mature. Oh, there's a grown-up here.
Grown up at the party. So, yes, my first impression of Megs was you're attractive and I think I recognise you from somewhere. And Megs' first impression of me was you're old. David, I'm assuming there's a bit of latency in the chats here because we're just getting great story and that's all the time we have for tonight.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see it in theatres in 2023. Thank you very much, guys. So those are the first impressions of each other. So it looks like we're going to be a bit behind on the chat, but we will interact with it as and when we can. Yeah. So those are the first impressions there, Jay White. Question from Samster for both of us. If you were on the wall, who would go into the isolation chamber and who would be dropping the balls? I have to say, neither of us have ever seen an episode of The Wall.
No, but I did the dropping the balls thing to tickle me.
Which would you rather do? Would you rather be in the isolation chamber or would you rather be dropping balls?
I don't know. It depends how claustrophobic. I don't know what it means going into the isolation chamber. If it's like here, you can just have some peace and quiet to yourself to answer some questions, then I'd be up for that.
I think you're not allowed to see. Someone's going to have to explain the rules of The Wall. We'll leave that question there. If someone can DM me the rules of The Wall and just give me a very brief overview as to what the difference between the isolation chamber and dropping the balls is.
Ages like a fine wine, yes.
Then that's fair. Then we'll address that question in a little while. For now, we'll leave it there and we'll move on. Ask Royal, where did the decision to start making game shows for Twitch was Ash involved? This from Silent Marine. Yeah, I've got exclusively Ash to thank for this one, because Ash had done winning. So I started out doing contained mods, as I think I know a lot of people know, and then Ash started doing winning lines. and that was really cool. And I remember really enjoying that. It wasn't even Winning Lines; it was Wonderwall at the time. And I think I said I wanted to do Countdown. I thought I'm going to make Countdown in Unity because I was looking for distractions from the Jigsaw House, I think, at the time. Or possibly something else. Anyway, I made Countdown that didn't have any Twitch interactivity, and it sort of snowballed from there. I then did Blockbusters, which was the first foray into Twitch interactivity.
Blockbuster.
I remember. And then I decided DangerZone. I came up with the concept for DangerZone. And it just sort of snowballed from there. I thought, well, this is really fun. I was enjoying the new challenge of programming in that particular environment for game shows. And I think most people know I've got a history as a pub quizmaster. So I was enjoying the challenge. It was more fulfilling than Catane mods. I said the escape artist. And more fulfilling than making Catane mods. And yeah, so Ash had a big hand in it. I saw Ash was doing it, and I thought that looks really fun. Ever since I first went to my first university pub quiz, I wanted to be the host rather than the player. And that's something that's sort of been consistent to this day, I suppose. So that's where it came from, and it just sort of snowballed. And I thought, well, why don't I start making my own ideas? And Ash is an ever source of constant inspiration, and he's just fabulous. He's just fabulous. There's always something new to learn, and he's always giving her like a really good tip. And was also the initial spark for the whole thing. So I've always liked game shows. I do like hosting, but yeah, it was a lot of this was inspired by Ash. So love Ash. Thank you.
We do love Ash.
Is that the heart?
Well.
Is that how the heart goes?
I don't know, but
I think there we go. That looks about right, doesn't it? There. You need to isolation tape. You're in a well-lit room, likely sat with a producer and camera person.
Oh, I could be down with that.
So you'd rather be in the isolation chamber?
Well, it's just if you're in there with a producer and a camera person, you'll start talking to the obers. I'll just be in there asking them.
So are we decided that you're going to drop the balls?
I can drop balls.
Max will drop the balls. I'll be in the isolation chamber. There we
go.
From Topper, what was the first game you ever created? In C#, in Unity, with TwitchLib, or first game ever? First game ever was probably something involving throwing things across the room like food to annoy my parents. Stop all this gratification. What is true, Ash? It's true. First game, I'm going to go computer game here. Even quiz game, I made an Excel spreadsheet of my own quiz thing. Handshake for a spider on a mirror. I made my own quiz thing in Excel that had macros when I was about 14. And it had audio tracks in it. And that was the first sort of step into realising I wanted to be a quiz master of some sort. First actual game in using Unity, well, it would have been a Catane mod of some sort. That was my first experience in Unity. First Twitch game first one with Twitch integration was the original Blockbusters. First one that we played on stream was Countdown. First game was the Jigsaw House. So take from that what you will. I'm interpreting these questions if there's not enough information, so thank you for that, Topper. The Real Dev asks Royal, which of your games, Twitch interactive or otherwise, are you most proud of and why? No, I'm not paying another 2,000 to ask why. I'm not made of money. Which am I most proud of? That's a good question. Do you want to field the next one, babe, while I have a think?
Well, I think we're both going to have to next one. So I tell you what, is there anyone that is just you, Mrs. Flush? You have you have a particularly fun spot in the stream community, blending background, host / personality, contributor. Dylan, I can see you there, a voice of reason. What's been your fave moment of yours since Ben started streaming? Oh, I've got two moments which always stick out in my mind purely because they were just quite amusing. I can still see you.
Dylan, please stop it.
Dylan, go. I can see that, but no. Favourite moments of mine. There was one of mine which wasn't admittedly a Ben stream. It was actually one of Ash's, but it still tickles me, and I think you know this. Yeah. And I can't remember what it was, but somebody had flagged up with this name, and it was like so and so is subscribing you, but it was something like Real Big Daddy or something like that. And Ash, without batting an eyelid, goes, "Real Big Daddy is in your area," and it just really cracked me up. And there was also the time when we just finished a family quiz, and this was last year, and Ben accidentally invited himself into the chat room, and it was just like, oh, Ben's just in the stream.
Like, oh, yeah, because
Yes.
I clicked the wrong button. I went and said watch stream, but I clicked it in Discord. I thought it would open up the Twitch window, and it didn't. It just because I'm a moderator in Ash's, so I was able just to walk into Ash's broadcast studio mid flow.
Ben is here.
But hi, I'll go now.
Dylan is vibing. Dylan will hover all night, bless him, because he likes to be involved. So yeah, he will probably pop in.
So that's 8 Minky's question.
Yeah.
Dev, game I'm most proud of and why? Probably DangerZone, because it was my first, and because it's got a sort of enduring popularity about it. People seem to want to keep playing it. It seems to be a firm favourite. We played it every week for a lot of 2018 before game night was properly established. I like the concept. It's simple enough to make sense, and it was my first foray into doing this sort of thing. So DangerZone is up there. I also... I'm going to go start naming all of them. I think the Escape Artist is really cool. And I'm very proud of how that turned out in the end. And it's generally quite a pleasure to play, to watch playing. From a purely technical point of view, I think the stuff I've done in Face Off is probably the most complex or efficient. Complexly efficient. Face Off feels like a real game. It feels like something that could work in a build and you could export it. So, yeah, it would be hard pressed between those three. But interestingly, with each game I do, there's always something new that I learn. Every single time there'll be something new that's brought to it. So the Escape Artist was the first one where I used the glowy neon stuff for the first time. And again, thanks to Ash for that tip. And that's featured in every game since. Bidding War, for example, has got the text-to-speech, the computer text voice, which is a really fun thing to do, to experiment with. What else? I mean, Red Herrings was the first one that was sort of self-automated, and that sort of came to a new thing with cryptex, Le Poisson Rouge. But yeah, if I had to pick one, just one, and you held my feet to the fire, I would probably say DangerZone. Ardenfest, might I get a brief happy birthday at being today? Shall we sing to Ardenfest?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ardenfest. Happy birthday to you. There you go, nailed it. So, and happy birthday from
And
Dylan
Dylan
as
says
well.
happy birthday as well.
Oh, I don't know what note that was. That feels like a bottom C or something. C, C, C. Yeah, probably something like C or D. Yeah, I'm done. Okay. Ask Royal from Jay Turner. Have you been recognised in public as Royal Flush, the Twitch game show guy yet? No. It's a simple answer. No.
I did once though at one of Ben's Wire concerts. Somebody came up to me and said, "Hello, Mrs. Flush," and it absolutely terrified me. And I was like, "I don't know who you are. I'm so sorry."
Oh, that was Steve, wasn't it?
Yeah, bless him. And I was friendly too, because it's like I wasn't gonna look at him and go, "Who the hell are you?" But it was just like, "Oh,
thanks
hello."
for the one bit, Dev.
Sorry.
Yes, yeah, that's right. So you've been addressed as Mrs. Flush by someone in public who I knew from IRL and then started joining the streams but hadn't met Megs before. Yeah, I've not yet reached that point. But one day maybe. Apodo Nuevo for both of us. Do you enjoy playing board games? Anything catch your fancy lately?
We do like playing board games, although at home here it's usually Dylan and I who are playing, and favourites are Risk, because of course they would be Dylan's obsessed with anything war and military Risk. And we do like playing Trivial Pursuit, which given that we're all quizzes is only going to be natural. I think when we're at your families, we do big on the board games, but that's normally because you and I team up and
win.
So far reigning champions for every single game.
Yeah, I used to like board games a lot as a kid. I used to like, it's not really a board game, but Screwball Scramble. I always wanted Mousetrap and I was never allowed it for reasons that I can't quite explain. But I always liked Monopoly, but haven't played it for a while. I don't play board games as much as I'd like. I love chess. I love playing chess, and I wish I could play more chess.
We used to actually, when we were first seeing each other, we used to play chess a lot.
Yeah.
And I'd always know if I was gonna win, because I'd literally be having a heart attack and sweating, and I could feel my heart beating. I was like, I'm gonna win this one.
We're pretty evenly matched as well in chess. It's a lot between us, I would say. In the games we've played,
you tend to be more consistent, but if I'm gonna beat you, I'm gonna beat you.
Yeah.
I'd say.
So chess is still something I put on my professional biography as one of my hobbies. Is that I enjoy playing chess. So yes, I do enjoy playing chess, but I don't play enough of it. So
ooh, Kegler coach, if that's a question, I don't know if you need to ask it in the format.
Yeah, you'll need to ask Kegler if that's a question. In fact, we're at 54, and we're supposed to be finishing in 25 minutes. So that's 30 seconds of questions. So we might run a bit late. Or what we could do, we could put. Well, I'm just aware of the face-off game, so we could put a pin in it at 8:30, do a face-off, and then come back to it for a bit.
If other people are happy, I mean, this is the most on-stream time you're probably going to get me for a while, so.
But let's
make the most of it.
Let's crack on. Oni asks Royal, what's your favourite drink that isn't wine?
There's no such thing.
No, that's not true. If my favourite drink that's not wine or not alcohol, because if not alcohol, coffee. I quite like orange and mango squash from time to time, but if we're still on alcohol, it depends on time of year. For the summer, I like sort of mixed fruit, Copperberg, and passion fruit Recorderlig. Prosecco, we drink a lot of Prosecco, and I think there's a bit of a running gag about the running out of wine, so we've had to open a bottle of Prosecco. And if I'm on shorter drinks, Southern Comfort and lemonade, probably what I'd go for. Ask the Flushes from Clive Legend. If you were ever in a position to fight Michael Howard, would you come out swinging or try make him feel inferior first? I would ask him why he. I would disarm him with a witty remark about why he threatened to overrule him.
I was just gonna say, yeah, shouldn't you just have to ask him the same question over and over and over again? Did you threaten to overrule?
You threatened to overrule.
With the greatest of respect, that hasn't answered the question as to whether or not you threatened to overrule.
Chris M. Dix has got insufficient points to ask this properly, so we'll just jump in on this quickly. As you were both pianists, do you ever play duets on the same piano at once?
Yes.
Yes.
There is a video of it, in fact.
If you want to see that video, Chris M. Dixon, it was one of my Music for Lockdown videos that we did.
And in fact, the full family makes an appearance. Barring the cats, you can hear Dylan and the dog in the background. The dog howls a lot when there's a lot of playing, so she tends to do this at the top
Chris
of the
M.
stairs.
Dixon, that's us playing the piano together.
There you go.
I hope that
we
answers.
do.
I'm not quite sure where to go with the Michael Howard question, except to say that we'd ask him whether he threatened to overrule us. Innes, to both of us, if you could each only listen to the works of one composer or musician for the rest of time, who would you choose? What a fabulous question.
It's a bit Desert Island Discs.
It is a little bit. That's a fabulous question.
If we're saying composer or musician, does that
Yeah,
include pop artists as well?
Well, I'm going to deliberately pigeonhole myself into classical here because otherwise we'll be here all night trying to answer this question. Probably. Do you have an idea if we were pigeonholing into classical?
Just classical.
Classical. Sort of Western classical, yeah.
Mussorgsky.
Really?
I love Mussorgsky. I don't know why. It's a moody Russian.
I'd be inclined to say Rachmaninoff, but actually some of his stuff isn't. I mean, no, his stuff is all amazing, but there's not a lot of it comparatively. Maybe Mozart, because it's good, but it is all the same at the same time. Rachmaninoff or Beethoven.
Oh, Beethoven's a good.
Beethoven is solid and so varied, and there's so much of it as well.
I could do Beethoven.
The Rachmaninoff would probably be a close second. I'll probably say Beethoven.
I changed my answer. Beethoven.
You're going Beethoven as well.
I do like Mussorgsky a lot.
Yeah, Rachmaninoff or Beethoven, probably Beethoven. What's the best thing about Burton-on-Trent from Brand New Halo? There's only one of it. Absolutely nothing good. The best thing about Burton-on-Trent is that there's only one of it. No, I can say that my dad owns his shop. If someone's got a can of Carling, I can say the postcode on the brewery on the side is the same postcode on which my dad owns his shop. But apart from that, no, there's not very much going on for Burton-on-Trent, I have to say. David Bodkin, what game show do you wish you have invented? Oh, only Connect, obviously, David. No, from a purely practical point of view, probably Jeopardy. because that must get the owner millions from royalties because there are so many episodes of it. From a purely interesting point of view, actually, Only Connect would be up there. Only Connect is a great show. Maybe Millionaire, probably Millionaire actually. For practical reasons, but also it's such a staple format that is, probably Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, I think, which is maybe a slightly dull answer, but there we go. Ask Mrs. Flush from Silent Marine, what were your first impressions when Ben told you he'd be making game shows for Twitch?
Oh right, that's what you're doing now. Yeah, you crack on. Do you want to top up my my mocktail?
Yeah.
So Ben, when I first started seeing Ben, he was a teacher who also ran a choir. And then Ben decided that he was going to have more choirs and stop being a teacher, apart from doing private teaching. Then he decided he was going to go and do something else. Then he decided he was going to do, and he was a magician as well. So basically, Ben has had so many sort of career changes since I've been with him that when it was a case of, yes, that's the one, of doing game shows for Twitch and everything, it was just sort of okay, just this is what we do now. So lemonade or water? Lemonade, please. So you just sort of have to run with Ben, and I find it's just support and encourage and be there, and on the days when he clearly just needs a quick hug and a rub, give him a hug and a rub, and sometimes he just sort of spitballs ideas off me, and I don't know, Ben's Ben. Ben's always going to do something different, and you just kind of have to roll with it and just love him for it because.
Saying nice things about
I'm trying to. It's hard. I'm used to being horrible to you and being mean.
The fierce banter. I've just been aware I might have actually had this chair on top of my bot computer, so I'll have to check that in a bit. You done that one?
Yes.
Was it love at first sight?
Is there such
from top of one? I think love at first sight is a bit of a cliche, and I don't think it's quite as straightforward as that. But there was definitely an attraction there, and we realised we liked each other very, very quickly.
I think it didn't take very long before we both sort of went, actually, this is something more than we had initially kind of, than had happened before. I think one of Ben's favourite ways of describing it, first thing each other, was it was kind of ineffable. I think that's the best word for it. It was just,
It was so easy.
It's gotten hard.
Well, it got harder and then it got easy again. I think we had a couple of rough patches, didn't we?
Oh, yes.
But I mean, what relationship does not? But certainly, it started very, very easy and straightforward. So I think that counts for a lot rather than the love at first sight cliche. Mrs. Flush from Samster, if you were on Millionaire, how far do you think you'd get, and where would you set your safety net? So safety net was, I don't know if you're familiar with that. You do? Okay. All right. I don't know if you knew the new format.
Oh, new format.
Yeah, so rather than having an automatic safety net at 1,032, you can set your own safety net.
Oh, probably midway point. Probably, what is that? 4K.
That's higher than 32. But midway is 8,000.
Oh, crikey, no, I'd go higher than that. I'd certainly around the 60. 64 is kind of the average. You can set it dynamically,
so you can set it whenever you feel like it. You don't have to set it at the beginning.
How far do I think I would get? I don't know. Because I reckon I like to think I'd get higher than 8,000, but I probably wouldn't. They'd probably throw something in there, like what was this character from Emmerdale, at which point I'd just blow all of my lifelines on it and then lose drastically. I sort of tend to be one of those people where the easy questions at the beginning that are about pop culture stuff, I kind of flail and go, I don't know. And then the harder stuff later, like the Millionaire question that was asked of, what's she called, the woman who was the first word?
Judith Keppel.
Judith Keppel. I was screaming that at the screen. I was like, I know this. Why does nobody know this? It's a really easy question, but obviously it's easy if you know the answer. So, I don't know.
Just had a message from Ash, just let me know that it doesn't look like it's Twitch's side of things, and most people are getting 30+ second delay, which is quite excessive. Might have to check OBS for encoding issues and or restart stream once the AMA is done to see if that perks things up. So, I'm not very clever, so I wouldn't know what to look at in OBS settings, but I might suggest we restart the stream at some point. I could do it now, if that makes sense to do it now, maybe. I'll message Ash because he's going to get this message late. Otherwise, should I restart now? And in the meanwhile,
we'll go on to another.
We'll go on to another question. If you were on Taskmaster, this is from Adster. If you were on Taskmaster, would you prefer to be on the same team and work together during team tasks, or would you prefer to be on separate teams? Well,
no, we work well together.
I think we work quite well together.
Yeah, we work really well together.
Again, neither of us have seen.
No,
Taskmaster,
but just knowing what we're like and how we deal with like things that are happening, and you know, one thing is like if one of us is losing our heads, the other one generally tends to hold it together, and likewise, you know, we have different strengths and weaknesses.
From Drew Dave Tom, to me, if you did a second celebrity edition of Face Off, who would the 4 celebrities be? I've absolutely no idea, because at the moment that's not in the pipeline and I'd have to see who was available. If I could do a bring in anyone you like, ooh.
I think I know who.
Yeah, who would I pick?
I think I know
Who would I pick?
I think you'd probably put Stephen Fry on there.
I was about to say Stephen Fry or Alan
I think
Davis,
you'd put Stephen Fry or both if you could get them. Victoria Coren Mitchell.
Yeah, I'd love to get Vicky.
You'd like to get
Vicky
her
Coren
on.
Mitchell.
And some kind of politician. If they can dig up Thatcher for you.
Oh. Who do I like that is that? Oh God.
Natalie Paul.
No. Not from the quizzing world. I mean, this is the sort of question. If you could meet any 4 people from history, who would they be? And I should have a more suitable answer prepared for that, and I don't. Yeah, Victoria Coren Mitchell, Alan Davis, and/or Stephen Fry, and I know maybe Ian Hislop or someone satirical, Ian Hislop or Paul Merton maybe. So have I got news for you?